Hey guys, the Lord here, back again with another edition of Flashback Fridays, and what I have for you today is the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse animated Superman, as he appeared in Superman the Animated Series. That's right, we're taking a look at a Superman figure on the Overlord Productions channel. Who would have thunk it? But with all that being said, before we get into the meat and taters of this review, since I no longer have the packaging for this figure, let's first take a look-see at his accessories, starting off with the collectible trading card, of course. And much like the Batman and Green Lantern, much thicker cardstock here. Yeah, this first year of DC Multiverse figures from McFarlane Toys, much better cardstock. I think they started getting a little bit thinner when the first set of White Knight figures came out with Batman, Azrael, and the Jack Napier Joker. So that's something to note. But there's a bio on the back, and for those of you who haven't seen Superman the Animated Series, the hell's wrong with you? I may not be a Supes guy, but I love Superman the Animated Series. I love the Bruce Timm art style. I think the DC animated universe from the mid-90s and early 2000s is the perfect DC universe, albeit with some retconning and questionable origins of characters. Sometimes, not all the time. But there's a picture of Supes on the front of the card there. Then on top of that, he does come with a pair of grip hands. Which, can we go back to McFarlane Toys figures coming with alternate hands, please? It's kind of awesome that we get options here. Granted, they are sculpted a little bit like trigger fingers, but he does come with fists, so you can, I don't know, not display him with those. That said, he does also come with this bent up steel beam with a little indentation on the end there for his grip hand. Slide it on there like so. Can be easier said than done. There you go. Looks okay. Looks like he smashed someone over the head with it. Would have been nice to get one on the other side too to make it look like he's bending it, but it is what it is. It's an okay accessory. It's not great. A little bit more detailed than the figure itself though. And he also comes with the McFarlane Toys hockey puck display stand we're used to seeing with all McFarlane Toys figures. At this point anyways. Didn't always used to be that way. Watch my Cyber Violator review for more on that, because he probably could have used a stand. That said, this is not the best figure in this animated line. I mean, granted, the Batman and the Green Lantern had their issues, but this guy has one glaring issue that is very difficult to overlook. And it's not the fact that I don't really care for the sculpt of the cape. I wish this was a little bit more flat, like the Batman, but it is what it is. It looks like a decent cape otherwise. No S on the back, which I never really cared for that, if I'm being honest. I prefer him without the S on the back. That said, I think the S shield could have been a little bigger and connected to the cape. Granted, I'm not 100% sure on this design for Superman, if it's accurate or not to the original source material. Have to give a second look at the collectible trading card for more on that, but I do believe the S shield was connected to the cape, at least in Justice League and Justice League Unlimited. Maybe not in this show, but I definitely remember it being connected in the other one, so maybe that's where I'm getting that from. But other than that, everything else looks alright. The belt looks fine, the boots look fine, the hands, the head is okay. He's got a weird mullet thing going on the back, which if you were to sand this down, might fix that, but it's not a really good sculpt on the back here. It just sticks out way too far and makes his hair look a little weird. That said, he does get good up and down. He can look up at least. Very odd shaped neck though. It looks a little funny to me. He can look down really far too, and he does tilt side to side as well. But yeah, he can look up at least, so that's more than I could say for a lot of Superman figures. Most of the Mattel ones can't even do that. So you can go da 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 da. Okay, wrong Superman franchise. Shoulders go out to the side, go back down. They move forward and back. He's got a butterfly ball joint socket thing in there. He's got the oddly cut bicep. I mean, it is what it is. He's got a single joint in the elbow that works okay. They're nice and crunchy. I like that. Ball hinge wrists. And much like Batman, his wrists are nice and soft, or his hands are nice and soft, so they pop right off those pegs. Super easy. Torso, you didn't get much out of that. It just kind of does rotate up here though. And down here at the waist. Diaper is not the softest, but he does get okay splits. Can't really move forward that much because of how hard that diaper is. Not a whole lot of thigh cut. It's got a little quiver of a thigh cut in there. And I will say, as much shit as I give Hasbro, they do this type of joint a lot better than McFarlane has. I haven't got one of these that isn't kind of loose. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's not great. It's got double jointed knees. Ooh, pinch myself there. Which look alright. Considering the sculpt of this, that's not terrible. It's just kind of flat, which that's kind of the style. Then he also has a hinge in the foot with a swivel and a rocker and a toe joint, which appears to be tight and neutral. Not on that side. Don't count your chickens before they've hatched, Overlord. But yeah, that's it for Supes. Really, it's a good Supes. I don't mind it. It's okay. It could be better. But that said, if you wanted at least a better head sculpt, because his hair is very glossy, and if you don't want to throw like a matte finish on that, you could buy that, not just the Slurred Superman, but the black and silver suit Superman that uses the same mold. Maybe swap the head onto this figure. I'm not entirely sure if the skin tones match, but it looks decent enough to where you could probably get away with it. And you can probably pop this head off really easy too. It's super soft, and even if it doesn't pop off right away, you can probably heat it up and get it off pretty easy after that. So with that being said, let's now move on and take a look at some size comparisons. First up, here's our animated Superman next to a couple other animated figures from the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line that I've already taken a look at on this channel. John Stewart, sorry, couldn't resist, love Mad TV, from Justice League Unlimited, and Batman from Batman the Animated Series, which leads me to my main point of contention with good old Supes here, and the fact that he's too damn small. Last I checked, Superman was taller than Batman, right? Right? That said, would it also be too much to ask to get all three of these guys from the same series so we have a little bit of continuity for this animated line, please? I mean, I know it's the multiverse, but shit, be nice to get a complete team at some point. Jeez, man. And last, but certainly not least, we have our two regulars, the Mythic Legions, Brother Mandibulus, Lemon Spawn as usual, towers over everyone. Not sure if that's accurate because I'm more familiar with good old Al Simmons here throwing down with the Dark Knight. So with that being said, time to wrap things up. Some final thoughts. Overall, and of the animated figures from the McFarlane Toys DC Multiverse line I've taken a look at on this channel, recently anyways, I did look at Cyborg a couple of years ago now, but between this guy, Batman, and John Stewart, again, sorry, couldn't resist, love Mad TV, good old Supes here is by far my least favorite of the three. Not because it's Superman, although that doesn't do him any favors, because again, I'm not the biggest Superman fan in the world, but because he is so gosh darn small. He should be a lot bigger than he is. That, and it would have been nice to get some flight hands and a flight stand with this figure, considering that he's got such good range in the head. He can look up almost all the way, and that's more than I could say for a lot of DC Multiverse figures from this time at least. That, and while the beam is nice, it is awfully heavy, and can weigh the figure down and make him a little bit difficult to stand and balance at times. That, and I'm also not a fan of the windswept cape on this guy. I wish it was more neutral like Batman's. It would have looked better next to the Batman figure at the very least. But my main gripe with this figure is that it is from a different source material than both Jon Stewart and Batman, so he technically doesn't go with either of those. So right now we just have a mishmash of various Bruce Timm animated characters that don't really fit together. However, that will all change next week when I take a look at the Flash, who I do believe is also from Superman, the animated series, for the most part anyways. We'll get into that. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's edition of Flashback Fridays. If you are so inclined, please don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you know whenever I upload more reviews like this one. If you haven't already, please hit me up on Instagram at Overlord Productions. But as always, keep the comments civil, because the world sucks enough as it is, especially when, well, you saw this video, right? Plenty of problems going on here. And until next time, I'll catch you guys later.